for someone who's heard the word channeling, and they might have this conception of, oh, channeling means you're like out of your body and it's this alien coming through you and then you don't remember it after. What is channeling? What are the forms of channeling? What does it look like for you?
Well, at a basic level, you could argue that we're all channeling in so many ways, so many times. So, for example, you could be channeling your intuition or channeling a very wise part of yourself. So, in a way, channeling is when you let a certain energy, or in some cases, entity or guide, have the focus of your voice, your attention, your actions. So, for example, musicians and artists and acts of creativity, you can feel that you get into a channeling flow. Your mind is no longer in charge, is no longer in control. There's something else coming through you that feels a bit more spiritual and a bit more open in nature. But I think the traditional view of channeling, or certainly for our generation right now, the way that we tend to associate the word channeling has been somebody is letting the voice of a spirit, a guide, an entity, an energy come through them and connect us to information and vibration from the realm of spirit rather than the realm of human.
Mm. And when we are channeling, do we have to know who we're connecting to? Is it possible to be channeling and not knowing that you are channeling?
Yeah, there's a couple of ways I look at it. So, for example, for me, I heard the voice of my guides when I was 23 years ago. And it wasn't something I was looking for. It wasn't something I expected. And like many people, I thought for that to happen to me, there must have been something extraordinary about me, or I should have been meditating for 3 years and I should have only been on a raw diet. I had all these preconceptions about why channeling would happen to someone. So when it happened to me, and when it happened to me on a subway train of all places, it was hard to believe, because I thought, well, no, surely big spiritual experiences happen in a monastery. But you see, for me, what I often teach and explain to people is some of us may end up channeling our guides, talking to our guides, connecting with our guides, but all of us can connect with our higher self, which is why I love the name of your podcast. So my advice to people who want to channel is, don't get too obsessed with trying to find a particular angel or a particular group of beings. Just ask yourself to go above and beyond and outside your mind, your existing view and perception of the world, and ask to speak to the voice of your soul or your higher self. So I will always say, as a great starting point, write down on a piece of paper or type, what does my soul want to tell me today? And then write what comes, and don't judge it, don't control it, just let it come through. And hey, if you're worried you're imagining it, fine. Just let yourself imagine it and let it happen. And what I've noticed with so many people that I've led through that exercise at workshops or online, many people will go, oh my God, I think I've kind of done this before when I'm journaling, but I didn't realize it was channeling. So in answer to your question, I actually think our higher mind and higher knowledge and higher senses are available to us in many different ways in our life, and they show up in many different ways and at different times. We're just not always used to tracking them, and we certainly as a society don't talk about it, or historically we haven't.